What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about why I am getting Ninja Gaiden 4. This is a video series I do where I talk about an upcoming game and talk about whether I'm getting it, not getting it, or I'm somewhere in between. And I want to be crystal clear, and it's a reason why I changed this series a little while ago to getting instead of buying. I don't want to mislead anybody or get anybody confused or having kind of crazy thoughts. No, this is a game that I think I will be taking advantage of the Game Pass system for, and I'm recording this the day that Game Pass is being upped, in massive amounts of price. So I don't know how much longer I'll be doing Game Pass, but I can tell you, and I think it's a good deal, get a game like Ninja Gaiden, get a game like The Outer Worlds 2, a lot of money, pay $20-$30, be able to play both of them. But that's besides the point. Let's talk about Ninja Gaiden 4 in particular. Look, I am really excited about this game. I think what you have in October is a very strong, first half. Then you have just a little bit of breathing room, right? You have Battlefield and Little Nightmares that come out, and then you got maybe a week and a half, which doesn't sound like a lot of time, but considering games come out every other day in the fall, it is a lot of time. And then Ninja Gaiden 4 comes out, and then actually Outer Worlds, I believe, comes out 1 week after. But, Ninja Gaiden is really having a resurgence this year. I don't think that's anything new. That's not breaking news. But, look, I'm a general fan. I've played some of them back in the day. I can't really tell you which numbers, and I can't tell you I made it very far because I think they just, they have this stigma, and I think, well, it's true. It's just a true thing. They're very difficult. And I just remember growing up, I wasn't necessarily into those games, and when I tried them, I would get crushed. I would get utterly obliterated. Actually, it kind of worked the same for Devil May Cry. I tried a couple of those, couple Ninja Gaidens, and I kind of knew them by name only, but not really by massive experience. But I'm this past year, I've really said, okay, 4 looks spectacular, but it's really had an incredible year leading into 4. I actually bought Ragebound just kind of on the side and played through that, and that game rocks. That game's really fun. And then obviously before that, they remaster, remake-ish Black, right? So it's that game is so good. And I don't know if I originally played that game back in the day or not, but I can tell you one thing. The game is so freaking fun, and I've watched pretty much any gameplay that's out there on Ninja Gaiden 4, and it just looks like a blast. There's almost it's a tough game in a way because it's kind of hard to actually talk about the amount of things that go on the screen at once. I guess you can analyze it if you want to go that direction, but it just looks like so much fun. I'm just so happy that they're embracing what it is, right? Because you have so many people that go into the Souls-like thing, and every game has to be a Souls-like, or even if it has 1% DNA of a Souls-like, all of a sudden it's an entire Souls-like game. What I love about Ninja Gaiden is, I guess, actually the honesty, firstly from the developers, but then also, you look at it, and it's unapologetically what it is. That brutal hack and slash, and it's going to be challenging. It's going to be difficult. You'll have multiple characters. They're going to play slightly different. It just looks like so much fun. There's the complexity and depth there. That responsiveness, and that's what I've learned, upon going back, I guess, and doing 2 Black this past year, is, okay, the game just feels so good to play. And in reality, we don't really have too many, at least AAA versions, we don't have a lot of games that are like it, that are ultra responsive, that are that crisp. Obviously there's blood and gore kind of factor to it as well. It's visceral, and then they can tell really good stories. They can actually be very, very interesting, and they can just be a lot of fun. And that's a large reason why, actually, it's probably 80% of the reason why I want the game in the first place. There's potential and what it can do with story and characters, but honestly, it looks like a lot of fun. There's a lot of gameplay things that look like a blast. And again, I'm looking for that kind of responsive, visceral kind of tone with the combat. That's kind of it. I don't care if it's 12 hours. I don't care if it's 7 hours. I want some fun in the way that, I mean, when it's done well, really, Ninja Gaiden is kind of one of a kind. There's very few games that can do it as well historically, right, as it. Again, something I've learned over just the last little while. So I'm just looking forward to a brand new entry, I mean, for people that have played 2 back in the day, you knew what to expect a little bit. And I think a lot of things will be maybe close to it. Visuals don't look like it's been 10 years since, the remaster earlier this year. So I think visually it's going to look very familiar familiar, which is totally cool. And then, like I said, there's the Game Pass elements. And look, one thing I do want to make clear, oftentimes with these games, what I like to do, I mean, I try to do this with games that I get digitally. I try to do this with games that are on Game Pass. Kind of that first moment, day one type thing. I'm going to take advantage where I'm going to take advantage, right? $30 on Game Pass, $20 on Game Pass, instead of $130 to buy Ninja Gaiden and Outer Worlds. And then what I tend to do is I just pick them up later. So just in case people will call me out here, I don't think people will. I like you guys quite a bit. You're very good to me. But that generally is how I do it. Games that come out in this kind of situation, or games on Game Pass 2, 3, 4 years ago, I oftentimes take advantage of it, and then I just wait for the game to go on like ultra discount and either buy it digitally or buy it physically. I really do like to get as many games physically as possible, and I think Ninja Gaiden would actually be really, really cool to get physically as well. So upon launch, day one, I'm getting it. I'm not buying it, but I'm getting it. And then down the line, if it's cheaper, maybe even on a PlayStation kind of version, I would do something like that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.